Hello, second grade. Welcome to Unit 2, Week 2 of Language Arts. We're going to go over your vocabulary for this week. Your first word is the word fond. When you're fond of something, you like it a lot. So you can say, I am fond of my new puppy. I am fond of my classmates. What is something that you're fond of doing? So something that you enjoy or something that you like a lot. Your next word is the word believe. When you believe something, you think that thing is true. So you can say, I believed my friend when they told me they fell down yesterday. Or I am looking up at the sky and I believe it's going to rain because the clouds are dark and the weather forecast said we might get some rain today. What's something that you believe will happen today? Your next word is the word feast. If you feast, you eat a large or fancy meal. So I can say the chef cooked an amazing feast for the wedding. Or on what holiday do people feast? So a holiday where you're eating a big fancy meal with a lot of people. Your next word is the word remarkable. So something that is remarkable is something that catches your attention. It's wonderful, it's amazing, it's outstanding. So you can say the color of a sunset is remarkable, right? It's beautiful, it catches your attention. When have you seen something remarkable? So you can describe a beautiful painting as remarkable. You can describe seeing a huge waterfall as something that is remarkable. Your next word is the word delicious. Now, this is a word a lot of us know. Food that is delicious tastes very good. So when you say something is delicious, you're saying it's so yummy. So you can say, I ate a delicious meal that my grandma made, or my dad baked a delicious pie for us, or I would like to have a delicious fruit salad for dessert. Your next word is the word snatch. So when you snatch something, you're grabbing it away very quickly, right? You're trying to get it in a hurry usually before someone stops you from taking it. So I can say that I had a cookie and my little sister came and snatched it from me and ran away. Or I can say my dog can snatch the ball out of the air. So if I throw the ball in the air, my dog is going to run up, he's going to jump, and he's going to snatch it or grab it real quick out of the air. Your next word is the word stories. So when you're telling stories, you're telling about something that's made up, right? Something that's not real. So you can say we listen to bedtime stories. I read a story in my English class. When it was a time that you've listened to stories. Your next word is the word lessons. So lessons are things that you learn from. They teach you ideas, they teach you rules, they help you to learn. So the teacher gives a spelling lesson to the student, or you guys are watching a video lesson right now to help you learn about your vocabulary words for this week. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about your spelling for this week. So for this week, your words are going to focus on the short U and the long U sound, and specifically the long U when you're making it in this pattern, the CVCE pattern. Now, what does that mean? CVCE is consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E. And when we're talking about syllables, we're talking about word parts. Now remember, a syllable is a word part that has a vowel sound in it. So you can clap to count syllables, like you can say apple or garden, or you could place your hand under your chin, and every time your chin bumps your hand, you know that that's a syllable. So remember, every syllable needs to have a vowel sound in it. Now the CVCE syllables make the long U sound because that silent E makes the vowel that came before it say its name. So since we're working with the long U, this silent E is going to make the U sound, not the sound when it's a short U. Short U says long U says U. So let's go over your words. You have the word mule, fuse, and huge for number 8. Those are your long U sounds. Now your short U sounds are going to be plum, dug, cub, hum, must, and fun. Now use is also a long U sound, but it doesn't have an initial consonant. But it still follows that same rule where it's the long U sound because of that silent E that's in the end of it. So again, your words are mule, fuse, plum, use, dug, cub, hum, huge, must, fun, rope, nose, look, yes, and there. All right, let's move into grammar for this week. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about for grammar is plural nouns. Now, when we're talking about plural nouns, we're talking about more than one of something. So there's a couple of rules when you're working with plural nouns, and one of them is to know when to add an S or an ES to the end of your word. So first, I want to talk about the rule for ES. Now, your ES rule, you only use it when you have a word that ends with either the letters S, SH, CH, X, or Z. Those are the only times that you are adding an ES to the end of a plural word that ends with any one of those letter combinations. So words that end with S are like class. When we make it plural, we say classes. Bus, we say buses. So you can hear me saying is, not just when I'm making it plural. Words that end with SH are like wish or leash. Those become wishes or leashes. Words that end with CH, examples of those are watch or beach. So watches or beaches. Words that end with X are like box or fox, and those become boxes or foxes. And a word that ends with Z, an example word, is the word buzz. So we say the bee buzzes. Now, when do you add only the S? You add only the S to the end of a word that ends with any letter other than the ones that were above. So anything that does not end with S, SH, CH, X, or Z, you throw just an S on the end of it. So cat becomes cats, toy becomes toys, shoe becomes shoes, book becomes books, and so on. And you can hear the difference in how you're pronouncing it or how you're saying it, because when we say cats, we don't say cat is with the ES sound, we just say the sound at the end of it. Now, what happens when your word ends with the letter Y? So if your word ends with a consonant and then the letter Y, you're going to change that Y into an I and then add ES to the end of it. So enemy becomes enemies, Y becomes I, then we add the ES. Fly becomes flies, change that Y to an I and add the ES. Lady becomes ladies. Library becomes libraries. Bunny becomes bunnies. And lily, like the flower, becomes lilies. So if it ends with a Y, a consonant and then a Y, you're going to change that Y to an I, and then you're going to add the ES to the end of it. So these are the ways that you're going to make plurals, either by adding ES, S, or IES. Now, the next section that we're going to talk about is commas in a series. Now, when we're talking about a series, we're talking about a set of 3 or more words that we're listing together. So we use commas to separate those words in that series or in that list. And we usually have the word and or right before the very last word. So we put and in there when we're talking about a group of things. We put or in there when we're picking between things, when we're making a choice. So this works for anything that has 3 or more. When it's just 2 words, we only put and or in the middle. When it's 3 or more, we add the commas and then the word and or. So I can say the farm has goats, comma, cows, comma, sheep, comma, and chickens. So my series has 1, 2, 3, 4 words in it. So remember, commas in a series works for 3 or more. So this one has 4. So I have 4 words in my series. So I have 3 things that I added between them. I have 3 commas and the word and. My next sentence says, do you want to go to the park, comma, beach, comma, or zoo today? So I have 3 words in my series, park, beach, or zoo. And I have the word or to show that I'm making a choice between these things. So if I have 3 words in my series, I've got 2 commas in the word and or. If I have 4 words in my series, I have 3 commas in the word and or. So remember, the number of words you have in your series, you have one less comma plus an extra word that you're adding. So I can say we need blue, red, black, and green markers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 words in my series. I have my 3 commas plus my extra word. Next I have, do you want to run, jump, or skip at recess? So my 3 words in my series are run, jump, skip. I put my commas after my first 2, and then the word or right before my third one. I will cut, glue, and color my work. So commas are used to separate words when you're listing 3 or more words in your sentence to help keep your sentence really organized. Okay, and the last part of your grammar that we're going to be working on, or the last part of your language arts notes that we're going to be working on today, are about suffixes. Now, a suffix is a word part that we add to the end of a word that can help change its meaning. And you've used lots of suffixes already, but we're going to learn what those suffixes mean. So we have the suffix full, F-U-L. Now remember, this means, this little dash right here means it's being tagged on to a word that came before it. So this is being stuck onto the tail end of a word. So a suffix goes on the end of a word. So the first suffix we're going to talk about is full, F-U-L. It means that something is full of something. So I can say it's colorful. The girl was very careful when she pet the baby bunny. The kids were joyful when they found out they were getting extra recess time. Or I felt very sorrowful when I found out that I wasn't going to be able to go on the field trip. So what is a word that you could use to describe someone that is full of beauty? We say they are beautiful. Your next suffix for today is ly, L-Y. Now, when you tag ly onto the end of a word, it's telling you how that thing is done, the way that it's happening. So loudly means they're talking in a loud way. Sadly means they're doing something in a sad way. Quietly, nervously. It tells you the way that they're doing something. Now, what is a word that you would use to describe something being done in a happy way? You can say they are dancing happily, or they are talking happily.
Genre, fable. Wolf, wolf. John Rocco. Essential question. What can animals in stories teach us? Read a different version of the story of the boy who cried wolf. The hungry old wolf was too slow to snatch birds and too stiff to chase rabbits, so he tried growing food in a small garden. Bah, weeds everywhere. There are so many I can't even find the vegetables. The old wolf growled, rubbing his empty stomach. As he yanked dandelions from where his carrots should have been, his ears began to twitch. Wolf, wolf! The old wolf fumbled with his hearing aid. Who's calling me? I don't remember having any friends on this mountain. In fact, the old wolf didn't have any friends on any mountain. Maybe they have some food to share. A mere morsel would do, he said. His bones creaked and his joints cracked as he slowly made his way toward the voice. After a tiring climb and 2 stubbed toes, the old wolf came to a clearing. What's this? A boy? With goats? The old wolf drooled with excitement. Surely he can spare one for a hungry wolf. Before he could step into the meadow, a group of villagers came clambering up the hillside. The old wolf stayed hidden behind the bamboo as the villagers surrounded the boy. "Where's the wolf?" a villager cried out, waving a stick. "Did he take any goats?" another gasped. "What wolf?" the boy giggled. "There is no wolf." We ran up this hill for nothing, the eldest wheezed. Call us only if you see a wolf, scolded another. The old wolf wasn't fond of angry villagers, especially ones with sticks, so he limped down to a nearby stream. Kids, humph, always playing tricks on old folks and old wolves. He groaned as he soaked his tired feet. Before long, the boy's cry came again. Wolf, wolf, the wolf is taking the goats. Another wolf is taking those tasty goats? The old wolf couldn't stand the thought and quickly hobbled back to the meadow. The villagers were already there, huffing and puffing from running up the hill. Where is the wolf? Are the goats okay? The villagers gasped. What wolf? The boy laughed. From behind a tree, the old wolf watched the villagers stagger back down the hill. There's got to be a way to get one of those scrumptious goats from that trickster, he thought. Perhaps through a trick of my own. The old wolf sat down to work out a plan and was soon snoring away and dreaming of mooshu goat and double goat dumplings. Wolf, wolf, the boy yelled out again. Arg! I can't even enjoy the goats in my dreams. That boy is worse than weeds, the old wolf growled. He stretched his aching legs and went to the meadow once more. Perfect, not a villager in sight. The old wolf slowly crept out toward the boy. The goats swiftly scattered to the far edge of the meadow. Were you calling me over for lunch? The old wolf grinned. Wolf, wolf, there is a wolf, the boy cried as he scrambled up a tree. Quit your yelling, said the wolf. Those villagers won't believe you anyway. But this time it's true. They have to believe me. You're a real wolf, and you're going to take the goats. The old wolf knew his legs were too tired to chase down goats. He carefully lowered himself onto a nearby rock and gazed up at the boy. His lips curled in a smile. The villagers are only going to believe you if you really are missing a goat. I can help you with that, he grinned. Just one goat? The boy leaned forward on the branch. I'm a picky eater. That plump one looks about right. But you have to bring it to me because if I go over there, I might change my mind and grab them all. Bring it to you? The boy asked. On the other side of the mountain, the old wolf said. You'll find a small garden. Just tie it to the fence post there. And he started home. The next morning, the old wolf was overjoyed to see the plump goat nibbling away in his garden. Good fortune at last, he said. Today I'll feast like an old wolf should. He rubbed his paws together. The wolf's mouth watered and his stomach grumbled as he crept up behind the goat. Suddenly he noticed something remarkable. Everywhere he looked, there were ripe and juicy vegetables. Baby bok choy, beautiful eggplant, ready-to-pick carrots, and even his favorite, onions. The old wolf couldn't believe his eyes. Then he saw the goat happily eating the last few weeds. She saw him too and froze in fear. You ate my weeds, the old wolf said. But why didn't you eat the vegetables? Sorry, I'm a picky eater, she said. Please don't eat me. The wolf looked at the plump goat and then at all the juicy vegetables and back at the goat again. He sighed. Don't be sorry, you did my work for me. What's one breakfast compared to delicious vegetables for the rest of my days? The wolf smiled as he untied the goat. I could use a friend like you. Plus, double goat dumplings are overrated anyway.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and hop into our second story for Unit 2, Week 2 in our literature anthology book called Cinderella and Friends.
Genre: expository text. Compare texts. Read stories from different cultures about Cinderella and her friends. Cinderella and Friends. Cinderella is a lonely girl with only mice for friends. Then her animal friends help her get to a ball and everything changes. The traditional Cinderella story is from Europe, but there are Cinderella stories from around the world. People in different places tell different Cinderella stories. Read some of these stories and see how Cinderella's animal friends help. Ye Shen, a Chinese Cinderella. Ye Shen's only friend is a beautiful fish. One day her fish died. Ye Shen buried its bones. The fish bones were magical, so Ye Shen made a wish. She wanted to go to the spring festival. The fish bones gave her a beautiful dress and golden slippers to wear. At the festival, Ye Shen lost one of the slippers. The king found the lost slipper. He said that he wanted to marry its owner. Many girls tried on the golden slipper. It only fit Ye Shen. She married the king, and they lived happily ever after. Rhodopis, an Egyptian Cinderella. Rhodopis was a poor servant girl. The other servants teased her. Her only friends were the animals along the river. She liked to sing and dance for them. They loved Rhodopis. One evening, Rhodopis lost a slipper. A bird snatched it away. Then the bird flew over the king's castle. The slipper dropped onto his throne. The king searched his whole kingdom to find the girl whose foot fit the slipper. When he found Rhodopis, they fell in love, and she became the queen. A Zuni Cinderella story. Some Native American stories have the same events as the Cinderella story. In one Zuni tale, a girl wanted to go to the sacred dance, but she did not have a dress to wear. Her only friends were the talking turkeys that she cared for. The turkeys took pity on the girl. They created a gown with feathers for her to wear. Then she could dance. No matter where they come from, Cinderella stories teach similar lessons. The moral is that kindness will be rewarded. Hard beginnings can still have happy endings. It helps to have animal friends.
Okay, so let's jump into our reading and writing workshop. So again, we're in Unit 2. We're going to go to Week 2, and we're going to read the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Let's see what happens in this story. So again, we're still working on what can animals and stories teach us, and that's what's going to be the theme throughout all the stories that we read this week or throughout this unit. Our vocabulary words are here. If you would like to review them and review some of the example sentences so you know how to use them, they're in your reading and writing workshop book. Let's go ahead and listen to the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Genre: fable. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Essential question: what can animals in stories teach us? Read to find out what a shepherd boy learns. Long ago, a shepherd boy sat on a hilltop watching the village sheep. He was not fond of his job. He didn't like it one bit. He would have liked something wonderful to happen, but nothing remarkable ever did. The shepherd boy watched the clouds move softly by to stay busy. He saw horses, dogs, and dragons in the sky. He made up stories with these things as characters. Then one day he had a better idea. He took a deep breath and cried out, "Wolf! Wolf! The wolf is chasing the sheep!" The villagers ran up the hill to help the boy. When they got there, they saw no harmful wolf. The boy laughed.
"Shepherd boy, don't cry wolf unless there really is a wolf," said the villagers. They went back down the hill. That afternoon the boy again cried out, "Wolf, wolf, the wolf is chasing the sheep." The villagers ran to help the boy again. They saw no wolf. The villagers were angry. "Don't cry wolf when there is no wolf," they said. The shepherd boy just smiled. The villagers went quickly down the hill again. That afternoon, the boy saw a real wolf. He did not want the wolf to grab any of the sheep. The boy thought the wolf would snatch one of them for a delicious, tasty meal. A sheep would be a big feast for a wolf. He quickly jumped to his feet and cried, "Wolf, wolf!" The villagers thought he was tricking them again, so they did not come. That night the shepherd boy did not return with their sheep. The villagers found the boy weeping real tears. "There really was a wolf here," he said. "The flock ran away. When I cried out, 'Wolf, wolf,' no one came. Why didn't you come?" A kind man talked to the boy as they walked slowly back to the village. "In the morning we'll help you look for the sheep," he said. "You have just learned one of life's important lessons. This is something you need to know. Nobody believes a person who tells lies. It is always better to tell the truth."
Okay, so we're going to go into our comprehension strategy and skill. Now, our comprehension strategy for this week is about making predictions. So when we make a prediction, we're guessing what's going to happen next based on what we already know that happened in the story. So we take the clues that the author has already given us, we think about the events that already happened, and we use that information to guess what we think is going to happen next.
Make predictions. Use what you already know and what you read in the story to help you predict or guess what might happen next. Find text evidence. On page 120 of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, I predicted that the boy will upset the villagers again. That afternoon, the boy again cried out, "Wolf, wolf, the wolf is chasing the sheep." The villagers ran to help the boy again. They saw no wolf. The villagers were angry. "Don't cry wolf when there is no wolf," they said. The shepherd boy just smiled. The villagers went quickly down the hill again. On page 121, I read that the villagers were angry with the boy. I confirmed my prediction.
So when we say we confirmed our prediction, that means we found out that our prediction or our guess was correct. What we thought would happen did happen in the story. Sometimes what you'll have to do is you'll have to revise your prediction. And what that means is that you're going to have to change it because what you guessed would happen in the beginning is not the way the story actually ended up playing out. So when you revise your prediction, you're making changes to it.
Problem and solution. The plot is often about the problem in the story. The solution is how the characters solve the problem by the end of the story. Find text evidence. In the beginning of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, I read about the boy's problem of being bored. Graphic organizer. Problem: the shepherd boy is bored. The boy cries wolf when there is no wolf.
Okay, now we know what happens next in the story is he cries wolf and he sees the villagers run up to him. So now he's not bored anymore. He thinks he's being funny or silly because he's got everybody running over to help him. And he thinks he's playing a joke or a trick on them, but he sees very quickly that the villagers start to become very upset with him because they keep running to save him and realize there's nothing to save him from until the real wolf is there, and then nobody believes him anymore.
Fable. The Boy Who Cried Wolf is a fable. A fable is a made-up story that teaches a lesson, has a beginning, middle, and end. Find text evidence. I can use what I read to tell that the boy who cried wolf is a fable. It is a made-up story that has a beginning, middle, and end. Story structure. In the beginning of the fable, the shepherd boy is bored and plays a trick on the villagers. In the middle of the story, the villagers try to teach the boy a lesson.
Now we're going to go ahead and review suffixes a little bit more. Now remember, we said a suffix is a part that's added to the end of a word that gives the word a new or modified, like a changed meaning.
Suffixes. A suffix is a word part or syllable added to the end of a word. You can separate the root word from a suffix, such as ful or ly, to figure out what the word means. Find text evidence. I'm not sure what the word harmful means. The root word is harm, which means to hurt. The suffix is ful, which means full of. I think the word harmful means full of hurt. When they got there, they saw no harmful wolf.
Okay, so that takes us through to the end of our language arts notes for this week, second grade. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Make sure you go back into our document if you have questions about any of the notes. Remember, that's going to be in our shared folder. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. Take care. Bye-bye.